Next, we're going to introduce Regina Lawless, and she's going to talk about elevating bliss, strategies for women leaders to thrive without
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Good. I am so excited to be here all the way from the Bay Area. We show out. Sorry, y'all. Next slide. We don't know how to act. Like we do not know how to act. Okay, so I am Regina Lawless. I am an author, a keynote speaker, an entrepreneur. I spent 18 years, almost 19, in corporate HR. Most recently, I was at Meta, parent company of Instagram. I was the head of DEI at Instagram. And currently, I'm the founder and CEO of Bossy and Blissful, where I help corporate leaders overcome burnout and excel without sacrifice. Particularly Black women leaders, that's what I have a passion for. So part of my business is also running a community, a wellness community for Black women leaders. And I'm an author of my first book called Do You. So this came out in February on Fast Company Press. So I'll have some copies to give away to y'all at the end. Okay, next slide.
Yep, now it's working.
Oh!
Seems to be anyway. So it's that one there.
Okay, I feel powerful with the
know,
clicker.
don't you
I don't
know?
think so. Right? Like, I'm control. Yeah, you give me a mic, I'm Oprah, with the clicker, I'm doing all the things. Okay, so we're going to talk about ambition and women in the workplace. We're going to talk about what gets in the way of us being successful and happy. And then I'll give you some tips on what you can do to elevate your bliss. We don't have time for Q&A, but hey, like ask me a question later if you got one. Okay, all of us are leaders in this room, right? You're either a corporate leader or you're an entrepreneur. So women have a really rich history in corporate. We haven't always been in corporate, but once we got in there, we started making waves. So according to McKinsey's data, their 2023 Women in the Workplace study, women are increasing or continuing to break that glass ceiling and move into the C-suite. We still have a lot of progress to make though, right? You see that women are still just 1 in 4 in the C-suite. Women of color are even further underrepresented, 1 in 16. So there are many, many barriers that keep us out of the C-suite. Ambition is not one of them. When they surveyed women who are coming up in the ranks, women want to be leaders. We want to be leaders, but we are leaving our leadership positions at higher rates than men because of burnout. So I want to talk to you all, how can you maintain your success, but still be happy, still live a full life? So like I said, it is possible to advance and be happy, but there are some minefields, there are some prevailing wisdom that we have to overcome, some mindsets. So let's talk about what 3 of those are. The first one is I am resilient. How many people think of themselves as being resilient? Right? I think we all do. I was raised to be a strong Black woman. For my Black women in the room, we are taught from very young age to be strong, to overcome, to persevere, like suck it up, keep going. And that is good to a point. At some point, you're like this little dog, like I was, sitting in the fire, everything up in flames around you, and I was still in my corporate job, like trying to do all the things, acting like nothing was wrong. I had all the health problems, everything. So we had some actual doctors earlier tell us about some of the warning signs, so I won't go into this, but resilience, being strong, is good up until a point. When you start seeing signs of physical or mental challenges, it is time to pump the brakes. The second mindset we have to be aware of is, but they really need me. How many people feel this way? I am a recovering people pleaser, right? How many people? Like, I had a global team. I would be driving to work on calls at 7 a.m. trying to talk to my team in Europe. I'd be on business trips trying to book doctor's appointments for my husband. I don't know why he couldn't book his own doctor's appointment. I would be trying to arrange, right? Like, I'd be trying to, what is it up with men? And sorry, men, we love y'all. We love y'all, but y'all need so much help. And my son, I had a son, I was trying to make sure he got to rugby practice, and then if there, like all the things. So I was always trying to help people. And I turned into, anybody know who this is?
Yeah.
Wonder Woman, the OG Wonder Woman.
Linda Carter.
Linda Carter, yes, that's my Wonder Woman. So that's what I became. I took on this persona of Wonder Woman. Like I had to save everybody. I had to do everything for everyone. And that kept me trapped. So the third mindset to be weary of, but working like this is what got me here. Right? Like how many people are a victim of their own success? You get to a point, you've worked so hard, you kind of know what you need to do. It's hard then to pivot because what you've been doing is working. So this is a little snapshot of my career trajectory. I started, does anyone remember Mervyn's? Especially with West Coast people. That was my first corporate job, was at Mervyn. So I was this little, snot-nosed kid practically. I was this little HR representative at the time. And I just continued to move up the ranks. And I did that by figuring out corporate is a system. You learn how to play the game. Especially when I was coming up in corporate, you fall in line. There were very few women in leadership. There were very few people of color. So I had to learn to be someone I wasn't. I had to learn how to comport myself in a way that was not authentic, like Edna was talking about. I was constantly trying to do and strive and overcome. And it worked to a point, right? It worked. It got me into one of the biggest tech companies in the world as an executive. So what I did, what I had learned to do, what had made me successful worked up until a point when it didn't. So I had become so far out of alignment. I had lost myself so much, but it wasn't until tragedy struck that I really realized how far off from my identity I had become. So in May of 2021, I lost my husband suddenly. And I always tell myself not to get emotional, but it's coming up to, it's May, right? So we're coming up on 3-year anniversary of losing him to a heart attack. And when we lost him, I was 40 years old. So I thought I had not only my whole life ahead of me, I thought that we were going to grow old together. We had a 15-year-old son. I thought we were going to raise our son together, see him get married. We had planned to travel, all the things that we hadn't done because we were so busy working. I had all that in my mind. And losing him sent me into not only a deep depression and grief as you would imagine, but I ended up taking 3 months off work, and that started my healing journey. Because again, I didn't realize how burnt out I was. I didn't realize that I didn't even know myself anymore. I had been with that man since I was 18 years old. So my entire adult life, I didn't know anything else. I didn't know anything else but him, my son, and work. I had forgotten who I was. So through a lot of soul searching, and a lot of people have already talked about this, journaling, meditation, huge proponent for therapy. I did individual therapy and grief writing groups. I did a group therapy. I was like, give me all the things. I became a healing junkie. I was like, give it all to me so I can get myself together. I was that broken, or I felt that broken inside. I was so disconnected. I wasn't really broken, but I felt disconnected. So what I want to talk to you all, the time that I have left, are 3 strategies for elevating your bliss. Whether you are overcoming loss, like I have, whether you're just in a state in your life where you're searching for meaning, something's missing, you feel disconnected. Here are my 3 strategies, and I outline them in more detail in the book. But let's go over 3 today. The first is to set aligned goals. So I mentioned I was so out of alignment. My nervous system, I was having panic attacks. I just couldn't even sit still. And I was doing everything for everyone. Once I had a moment of quiet and a moment of peace, taking bereavement leave, I started to hear my inner voice again. And that's what allowed me to start to see, what's my vision? What are my real values? Not the values that were imposed upon me by my family or by society. What do I truly value? And what's my being? What is that inner part of me? So how this played out for me, I started to think about my vision. Again, I've been in corporate 19 years. I was on the path to become a VP, but I realized that that wasn't really my vision. I wanted to own a business. I wanted to write a book. I wanted to travel. There were so many more things that I wanted to do outside of the corporate arena. So I locked into that. My values. Family was always a value, but losing my husband made that ever more important. So family, freedom, learning, growth. I started to remember what's truly important to me, not the bag that I was chasing and all the things. Like I had all the trappings of success, the house, the car, the title, all the things. None of those really made me happy. None of those things really fulfilled me. And that kind of speaks to my being. I started to reconnect with my mind, heart, body, spirit. And through that, and that's the framework that I teach in the book, by the way, that is what gave me the epiphany that, you know what, I don't want to keep chasing corporate. I don't want, like this VP job that's not going to give me the meaning that I'm seeking. So I ended up leaving Meta May of last year, started to write my book, and then founded my company. And now I have so much, I wake up every morning so full, so happy, because not only am I doing what's authentic to me, but I get to help other people find alignment. That's what I feel my purpose is now, is to help other people align to their inner self. I thought I already need some water. So set aligned goals was the first strategy. The second one is prioritize bliss. How many of you are intentional about finding moments of bliss?
Yes.
I love that. Okay, y'all are my people. Oftentimes I'm in front of rooms where people, they say no because they're busy and they think that everything else comes before. It's important to prioritize bliss. So I tell this story in the book. So one of the things, 2022 was the year of me, right? I'm telling you. So I decided I was going to do all the things that made me happy in 2022 because, of course, my husband passed away in 2021. So I threw myself this lavish birthday party and I hired backup dancers because why not? So this is actually me and my backup dancers at my birthday party. I practiced for 6 weeks, okay? 6 weeks to pull, and I surprised my guests too, so it was amazing. But I used to love to dance as a child, and I had gotten away from that. So I always use this example. Prioritizing bliss is also tapping back in to what you enjoy, what you used to love to do as a child. So find that thing and bring that into your adulthood. Okay. Now, I don't know if I can do it again. Like it was a one and done. So the third one is make space for living. I find that oftentimes, again, we're so busy living, we're on this hamster wheel that we don't make time to actually enjoy our lives. And I was caught up in that. I was taking one vacation a year. I know, sad, huh? I was just, everything was work, or my husband or my child. And after losing everything, I said, you know what? I am gonna come back to work and keep making space for myself. So this is a technique that I use. I call it 3D time ownership. I came back to work with new eyes. And from that vantage point, I was able to set really clear boundaries. And I started to clear my calendar, both professionally and personally. I started to look at what are the things I can delete. People would just put meetings on my calendar, and I'm like, who are you? I don't even know, like, what is this meeting for? What are we doing? I would start deleting things, delegating more to my team. As leaders, I think a lot of us struggle to properly delegate. Or we give the task, and then we still want to micromanage the task, right? So this is to fully delegate. And sometimes you have to develop your team to be able to handle it, but delegate the things that don't require your expertise. And then defer. How many times do we have things that fall on our calendar that we don't really have to do today or this week. So I've gotten really good at, do I really need to do this right now? And then if none of those apply, and it's something that is a priority and only I can do, it requires my unique skill sets, then I do it. This made so much space on my calendar. I started not taking meetings before 8 a.m. I was like, I'm not available, leave me alone. I'm doing yoga, I'm eating breakfast. It's like, don't talk to me before 8. I started cutting out work after 5 for the most part, unless it was something really important. I stopped working weekends, which as an executive was like unheard of, but I said, I am not working weekends. With all that newfound time, your girl got out into the world. So I took some solo trips. I, of course, wrote the book. I spent more time with my son. That's my son, Morgan. My niece, I got this chance to spend more time with her. Went on trips with my friends. And then even found time to find new love. Which I also write about in the book, chapter 6. So that's it. I actually wrapped up early. I would encourage all of you, and I'm happy whoever wants a book, please, because I really want to encourage everyone to make some time to enjoy your life. Life is so precious, and we hear that, but when you lose something or lose someone, you really, really understand how precious it is. And so if I can encourage each one of you to elevate your bliss, prioritize yourself, don't get caught in all the things that are going on around you, come back to yourself. So thank you so much. I'd love to connect. This is my QR code for LinkedIn, or you can go to my website. You can download a free chapter of the book if you don't get a copy here, or with the, I think I gave everybody the QR code on the back of here gets you the first chapter for free as well. Thank you all so much.